Yo, hey guys, SmallmouthCrush. I got a serious problem with my Lowrance Ghost. We're gonna get into it. I'm in like the graveyard of boats behind me here. It's a little freaky. We're gonna head over to the Camus and talk all about it. That's all coming up. Okay, let me give you a rundown or review, if you will, of the Ghost trolling motor. This is my second trolling motor that I've had. Last year, I switched over to a Lowrance Ghost. It worked extremely well. I had zero problems. I fish a lot of big water, offshore, big waves, and a lot of times in my previous trolling motors, when that motor would come out of the water, which is pretty much every, a couple times a minute, sometimes in these 3 and 4 footers, and it would just shut off. If it was on anchor lock or spot lock, whatever you want to call it, the motor would just stop running. So I'd have to reboot it, turn it back on. It got extremely frustrating for me. And so I went with the Lowrance last year on my boat, and it was great. I had zero issues with it. It's quiet, it's fast, it's perfect. So if you look on the forums or online or Facebook, any of the Facebook groups, every once in a while you run across anglers that have had issues with their Ghosts. And I think that goes along with any piece of electronic, whether it be a Humminbird, a Lowrance, a Garmin. You're gonna have problems, right? You're always gonna have issues. It's a boat. That's just part of it. And hopefully a lot of times we can correct these issues, and you can use your equipment and get your money's worth and feel like it's a good product. And so that was the case last year with my Ghost. But if you go on the forums, you go on Facebook groups, you're gonna see some anglers that had some issues with their arrow, meaning the arrow on the trolling motor wasn't keeping a smooth track of the way the motor was pointing, what direction. And a lot of times we rely on that to use our forward-facing sonar, whether it be a Humminbird, Lowrance, or Garmin. And to me, that's extremely important. I use this technology almost daily. And I love it, right? It's so enjoyable being able to see how the fish react to your baits, where the fish are located, what they're doing, if there's even fish there. I go fishing to set the hook, right? I like to set the hook. That's why I enjoy fishing. And this electronics allow me to do that, allows me to stay on these fish. And it's a fun way to fish. So getting back to the arrow, you need that arrow to track smooth. And last year I had zero issues. I was a little concerned with the new trolling motor on this new boat this year because you just never know. Some guys don't have a problem and some guys do have a problem. And guess what? I had a problem. I had a serious problem. We need to address that because I wasn't going to be able to fish the way I like to fish and as efficiently as I could with the arrow sort of lagging behind. So as soon as I used the trolling motor this year, I realized it wasn't running smooth. It wasn't like last year's trolling motor. I was going to have the same issue that a lot of other anglers are experiencing with their arrow. And so I called Lowrance customer service, and I've talked to Humminbird and Garmin customer service and everybody in the industry, right? You call Power Pole and you got an awesome guy down in Florida helping you out. You call Garmin, these guys are pretty knowledgeable. Humminbird, yeah, they'll figure it out, they'll help you out. Lowrance, that was a little tricky. After I was able to, I guess, get a hold of someone that I could understand and they could understand what I was trying to say to them, they were able to direct me with hopefully some information that could help. So Lowrance's suggestions were to use DiElectric Grease and put a little dab underneath the cap, the arrow, on the trolling motor, just a little dab. And of course they recommended also to clean it up a little bit and make sure there's no sand or dirt or really anything in there. And that's important. You want to check that regularly. That's like a routine maintenance that you need to do. It's really simple to do. So guess what? I put a little dab of this on the trolling motor and it's as smooth as can be. It works perfect right now. And so I'm really excited. That really had me concerned because especially when I'm tracking a fish, if that's kind of going not smooth, because I'm constantly going like this, and when I see one, I got to get right on it. I got to line that up and pitch my bait over to that fish to try to get him to bite. I certainly wasn't gonna be able to fish if it was the same way properly. So I needed to get this fixed. This was definitely the solution for me, and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, real simple. All you do is take a screwdriver and you literally pop it off like so. Really simple. And so you just want to make sure that everything's clean, which it is. In here, this is another important area. You just want to take a clean rag here and just make sure there's nothing in there. That could be part of the problem, especially if it was working in the past and you notice that the arrow isn't as smooth as you'd like it, because these are all just magnets in here. And once you get that cleaned, a lot of guys have found success with that. I had to take it a step further. I literally just put a little dab on this white spot here. And you can still see there is some on it. And then you just pop your arrow right back on, and there it is. Literally fixed it for me with this simple solution. So I did take a before shot of this arrow not tracking properly so I could send it to Lowrance to see it on my phone. So if I can find that video, I'm gonna play that in the background here. And then I tried to put the trolling motor down here to show you how smooth it runs, but the ladder here's in the way, so I can't deploy it. So we'll have to show you when I get out on the water next time, which will be actually tomorrow. So I'll share that video once I show you how that arrow runs really smooth with this quick fix. I'm out on the water today, and let me just show you how smooth this is. Look at that. That is perfect. Problem solved. Everything's working good. I like it when things work good. I'm able to use that forward-facing sonar properly. That's awesome. All right, trying to catch some fish. Hey, I teamed up with Beast Coast Fishing to design this killer little jig. Whether you're fishing for smallmouth, largemouth, even spotted bass, this thing is sneaky. Designed with proven fish-catching characteristics. It's a tiny little finesse football jig. It's called the Open Water Sniper. Of course, it's SmallmouthCrush approved. They come in a wide variety of different colors. This one here is Sexy Melon. We got Mothman, Straight Black, Green Pumpkins. So you notice they actually have a few less strands than your standard football jig. No weed guard. You're going to be throwing this the same place you're going to throw an open water, say, exposed hook tube. So anytime you're around that type of structure, it's going to work real well in rocks, hard bottom, and all you're going to be doing is dragging this along. You can do a drag and stop, a continuous retrieve. You can put a little tiny swim bait on the back of that. There's so many different ways you can fish this jig. I've put a TRD on the back of it and looked at them on the graph and dropped straight down and just let it sit there. They're going to hit it. They're going to bite it. The whole point of this jig is to actually emphasize the trailer that you're going to use. So notice the small strands. The hook is very stout. It's perfect. It's got an awesome keeper for your plastics. I've caught so many fish on this year. It will put more fish in the boat. Go check them out. Hey, listen, they got a lot of other great products as well. BeastCoastFishing.com and pick yourself up the OW, Open Water Sniper Jig, SmallmouthCrush approved. Well, hey, I hope this video helped you out. If you're frustrated with the arrow, try this first before you beat yourself up too much. It did work for me. I'm hoping that I won't have that issue again the rest of the season. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced some problems and if you've tried this. I'm really curious if it's going to work for you. I want to know if this video helped you out. Please let me know. Watch this, go do it, and then come back and leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We do a lot of great fishing videos, tournament videos, how-tos. We do a live, a podcast. It's all there, SmallmouthCrush.com. I also want to mention, if you head on over to my website, SmallmouthCrush.com, I actually do one-on-one sessions with viewers just like yourself that may have questions as far as perhaps it could be electronics, rigging them up, how to set them up properly, whether you want to break down a new body of water or maybe get a second pair of eyes on a body of water that you already fish. We can talk about techniques, how I would approach it, pretty much anything and everything. You can go over to SmallmouthCrush.com, look up the one-on-one tab and sign up today. And as always, until next time guys, we'll see you on the water.